Yeah, we can see it.
All right, so the first screen that's going to pop up, you're going to hit Call Agent Web Form.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
And then you're going to hear that recording. You are the only one in this conference. If you don't hear that recording, you're not going to be able to hear the customer, and the customer is not going to be able to hear you. If that happens, log out and log back in. All right. Now, first thing I want to show you is if you get into a situation where you have to look up the last number, you can hit View Call Log and it'll show you all of the calls that you did in order. All right.
You are currently the only person in this conference.
On the left-hand side, you see you are paused. If you hit it again, you'll see you are active. If you hit it again, you are paused. That is your stop and go button. In order to make a call from the dialer, you must be on active. If you're trying to make a manual call, you have to be on pause. All right. To make a manual call, you'll press the manual call button, which you can't see on my screen, but you'll hit that and then you'll copy and paste the phone number in there, and then it'll start ringing and so forth. Now, halfway through the script, once you get past the first section, you get to the second section, open up the web form. And the reason why you want to do that is sometimes you'll forget. All right. If you hang up the call without opening up the web form, you're not going to be able to open up the web form without calling them back. All right. When you open up the web form, all the information that's in the dialer will pre-populate for you. Your name, your ID, the phone number, first name, last name. If there's an email address attached, the address, city, state, zip code, state, and county. So that leaves any information that is not correct. It's up to you to get it corrected. The person that you're speaking to is the primary first name. So if it says John Smith, but you're speaking to Joan, put Joan in as the primary first name. John would be the spouse name. Make sure the last name is correct. Make sure all the other, if the email is incorrect, you put the correct email in. Make sure you put the electric company in. The roof type, it's a drop down. You just pick the correct roof type. The shade, what percentage of shade it is, combined household taxable income, any specific notes you thought that you could use to your advantage later on. Anything funky or weird about the deal. For instance, Mr. Jones is hard of hearing. Please speak up. Mr. Jones has a big oak tree to the right of his front door. He's willing to cut or trim it if it made financial sense. Mr. Jones will have his son Michael there. Michael helps him with his financial decisions. All right. Whatever weird or funky needs to be notated. Again, it's for you at a later date if you have to go back to it. All right. As your pipeline gets bigger and bigger, it gets harder and harder to manage. This is where this comes in and why it's so important. When you set the appointment date, hit the calendar right here. The calendar will populate. Just pick whatever date it is, and then you pick whatever time it is. All right. You'll hit submit, and then you can have access to it in your CRM. If you hit, this would be your CRM that you all have access to. All right. So you can see the county, the call date, the time stamp, first name, last name, spouse's name, their phone number, the secondary phone number, their email address, city, state, zip code, the utility bill, the electric company, the shade, type of roof, household income, notes, appointment. Now, the reason why that none of these things are populated is because I had to do it for you guys. All right, we'll get into that here in a little bit. All right. Does anybody have any questions on how to fill out the web form?
Nope. One thing, I'm assuming there's gonna probably a lot of questions, but people aren't gonna ask them just right now in this platform. I will say there's gonna be questions because it's something that pretty much everyone is struggling with. It's not just a one person thing. It's across the board. So for more detailed help, just reach out to me and Dave on a one-on-one level. And we are more than happy to spend time with you, making sure that we have that covered. So you have that as a selling tool going forward. The more notes you have, the bigger your pipeline gets. You're going to love to have this in there. And then it will actually help sync up with Freedom as well. Okay.
Right. The other thing I want to mention is you will have access to all the recordings. All right. Why is that important? Because if someone ever raises a red flag, you can go back to the recordings to see who said what, when, and why. All right. It's more for your protection than anything else. It's also for our protection. Again, going back to the script, it was designed for legal reasons as well as sales and psychology and so forth, but specifically for legal reasons. All right. So it's for your benefit and ours. If you hit quick view, it's going to show you it's going to bring you right to Zillow. And you can see a picture of the house. You can see how many bedrooms. You can see the square footage. If you scroll down, it'll show you what type of home it is, single family residence, year built, and everything about the home and what kind of price range the house is in. All right, estimated value. All right. So again, when you get halfway through the script, make sure that you open up the web form so you don't forget. All right, just get in the practice of doing it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I have a question.
Sure.
So how do you call back on the dialer? How do you give callbacks? Like how do you dial the numbers and call back the clients?
Yeah, you have to be on pause and then hit manual view or manual dial. I'm sorry.
You have been kicked from this conference.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it answered it.
Okay. So that's pretty much the dialer in a nutshell. You all have access to the videos going through it. If you have if you want to see it for yourselves, it describes it in those two videos. If you need any help, by all means, reach out to me. If I don't answer, it just means I'm on the phone with somebody else, and I'll call you back within minutes. All right, but I'm always available. Right.
And real quick, just Nelson, you mentioned the manual dial. Guys, that's super important. We don't want to be calling back these appointments from our personal cell phones. Number one, that means it's not recorded. So if they say, you know what, your agent said this, this, and this, then we don't have proof that you didn't say that, right? So they can try and fight it. They go to Freedom and say, they said I can get a year for free or this for free, and if we have a recording and you didn't say that, it protects yourself. Okay. Also, we want to be sure that when you're calling, with the way that the dialer works is we have different, based on what the area code is, we're going to call from their area code, right? So they answer the phone call.
Yeah,
If
let
we're
me
calling,
let me go into that real quick, just so you guys can see it. All right, so depending on what their area code is, will be dependent on what DIDs are used. DIDs is the caller ID that comes up on their phones. All right, so you'll notice that for like area code 202, we have, I think, 17 different DIDs. So every time you call, it's going to come from a different DID. So they're not getting flagged. All right. If you're calling from Connecticut, 203, Texas, 210, 214, etc. All right. We have DIDs for every area code that we're dialing. All right. So again, just note that every time you call them, it's going to come up as a different DID. So they're not necessarily going to recognize that it's you or try to hide from you. If that makes sense. All right. After all, this is telemarketing. All right. David, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's all I was gonna say about that. Should I pull up the script real quick?
Yep.
Okay. So we made a small change to the start of the script.
And at the,
Um,
and at the end.
yeah, and so what you want to do really is look at this and realize before you get on the phones, right? For anyone that's brand new, I see a couple new names in here, and I know there are always new people being added to some of our teams. When you're reading some of this, let's look at this, right? So let me just start, right? So, hey, my name is David. I'm with Energy Savings. I know you recently inquired and made an appointment regarding solar energy. I'm sure you recall that. Now, remember, this is not a question. We're not saying you recall that, right? We're not giving them an opening to say something. I know you recently inquired and made an appointment regarding solar energy. I'm sure you recall that. I'm following up to find out what happened on the appointment and if you got solar installed. Now, it states right there, wait for them to answer. If they got solar installed, ask them who they went with, then thank them and hang up. Okay. Now, if they say, I didn't get solar installed, but I signed a contract, that's perfect. Okay. So perfect. What I'd like to, and then just continue with the script because, and you can let them know if you went with another company, you still have time for us to show you what we can do for you. And worst case scenario is that you're a little more well informed and you find out that we can actually give you a better price. That doesn't hurt, does it? Perfect. And then continue the process, right? So we like to offer you the opportunity to receive another quote. This is no cost, no obligation. We will show you exactly how much you can save or even earn by going solar. My job is to be an advocate for you and to offer you the best deal possible. That sounds fair, right? Let's face it, each year electric bills increase by an average of 4.5% or more, depending on your location. I know you'd rather be earning that much money, and I say in interest, than instead of spending that much. Also, your electric bill varies month to month, which can sometimes make it hard to manage a budget. Okay, now when you're reading this, keep in mind, you're going to be engaging the customer. Now, one thing I want you to remember, as a salesperson, we think, man, we're reading the script, people aren't going to want to hear it. But here's the thing, if we're rushing through it, if we're rushing this, then, and we're setting up like a ton of appointments, like 4 or 5 appointments on rushed calls, and I see that each call that you set up an appointment is like a 2-minute call, I can pretty much guarantee on a 2-minute call, that person will not show up or they're not going to buy. But if you can set an appointment and it takes you, 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever it is, 8 minutes, and you go through some of the details here and you make sure that it's covered, and these people are excited to sit with you, I can tell you right now, your closing percentage is going to go up. It's just going to skyrocket. Because the people that will spend the time with you listening to you on this script, those are the people that will buy from you. The people that are trying to rush you off the phone or saying, you know what, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get to soccer practice. Call me back later. And you're like, oh no problem. Go to soccer practice. Let's just say I'll call you back at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Does that sound good? Perfect. Oh, great. I got an appointment. That's not an appointment. Okay. An appointment is you've gone through this, you've qualified them, you know it's a qualified appointment, you set a time, the husband and the wife will be there, you clarified that, that is an appointment. Okay. It's not an appointment if you get rushed off the phone and you say, call me back tomorrow at 6. Okay. Which is one other thing I want to cover is going forward. I know that we've been using the leads portion in Freedom Forever to kind of store leads. What we want to do is, unless we disposition the call in the dialer as a sale, then don't put it in as a lead in Freedom. Keep that separate, right? Keep it on a notepad on your computer or however you want to do it for your best practice, and then transfer that in as a lead as long as you made that a sale in the dialer, okay?
And fill out
Um,
the form.
yeah, and fill out the web form. So if you have any questions about how to do that after the fact, just contact me or Dave Goodstein and we'll show you how to do that. That way we can track it. So the reason for that is that way we know to take that lead out of the system so no one else calls your lead and messes up your sale, and it goes straight to you. Okay. So everything that we're doing here is to streamline the process. Because imagine, guys, we have 100 people calling on these leads, right? And if we have it so it's just 20 people are not dispositioning right, and then we have not qualified or credits bad or it's a sale, but it just says no one answered, they get put back in the dialer unless Dave goes in there and then scrubs each call, and that takes him 4 hours to do. It's really not a good use of time. Okay, that's why it's important we do it for each call we're on. Let's scroll down, Dave, a little bit here.
You're here.
Yeah, let's go down to a little more. Perfect, right there is good. So right here, so you say like, what if we can show you a different approach where we can save you money, your payment will remain the same each month. Okay. And right here in green, you say, I know you'd be interested in finding out more about that, right? And again, where it says question marks, guys, I don't want you to be asking it as a question. I want you just making it more of a statement. Okay. I know you'd be interested in finding out more about that, right? Perfect. Okay. And then right here, okay, ask a question before you know they're qualified. So if they start giving you objections, this is a way you can overcome some here. I understand your concern about blah, blah, blah. I'll gladly answer it. Just so I don't waste your valuable time, let me ask you 3 quick questions so I know if you qualify, right? Do you own the property? Do you rent it? What type of home is it? You go through that portion right there. Now, if you don't have any objections like that, you'll skip down. Great. Now this call may be recorded for training and compliance purposes. You say it as quick as you can with actually saying it. I kind of stutter on that portion, so I say it normal speed. And that is for legal purposes. We do have to say that. Okay. So the first step is to see if you're qualified by asking some very simple questions. Do you own the property? Do you rent it? What type of home do you live in? Is it a single family residence, townhouse, condo? They'll answer it for you. Perfect. What's your average monthly electric bill? If you took 12-month average, knowing the summer may be higher than the winter, wait for an answer. Perfect. Who is your utility company and who do you pay the electric bill to? So we ask that twice because it will clarify that we are actually getting the right utility company. Okay.
Can I step in for just a second here?
Sure.
These 3 questions are super important because the worst thing you want to do is spend a whole lot of time setting the appointment, creating the proposals, going on the appointment, whether it's in person or virtually, and then find out that we can't do the deal because it's a rent to own situation. All right. Or they live in a triplex and only own 1/3 of it, or a duplex and only own 1/2 of it. All right. It's not the question you ask that's important. It's how you ask the question to get the correct answer. So if you shorten these questions, you're going to get some very bad answers. You could ask somebody the same question 10 different ways, and you're going to get 10 different answers. So if you say, do you live in a single family residence? Yeah, I do. Well, they consider their mobile home as a single family residence. All right. So that's not what we want. We want the correct answer so we know how to handle it.
So basically more detail is better, right?
Yeah.
So detail when it comes down to everything we do on the script, guys. The more we know about the customer going in, the more we qualify, the better the appointment's going to be. So again, here with the 12-month average, if you've been in solar, we all know that customers will usually not tell us the truth because a lot of customers don't understand solar and how it works. So they will kind of lowball the amount they're actually spending. So what we'll do is we'll make a proposal based on that. And if we can get the bill before, fantastic. If we have to wait till the appointment, that's fine. We'll get the bill during the appointment. We'll upload the correct numbers. And then we'll just say, hold on one sec, we'll upload these numbers and we'll fix it then. Okay. But we can at least make the proposal and set the appointment without the bill. That's fine, okay? So there's part two, where it says stand up, get out of your chair, slow down, make your words count, right? So basically the point of this is to stand up, get focused, and really understand what you're saying here. So as I said,
Open up the web form, because at this point, you pretty much are 85% there in getting the appointment.
correct, yeah. So web form is open. As I said, this is a win-win opportunity for you. You will have lower electric bills. That's a fixed payment that does not go up or down each month. All right. The US government also wants you to go solar for two reasons. One, to help you save the environment. Okay. And then I kind of laugh with that one. And two, to help spur the economy. In fact, they want it so badly, they're paying 30% of the cost by issuing tax incentives. Okay. That 30% means it's not going to cost you anything up front. It won't cost you anything out of your pocket for the installation either. In addition, some of the states and local governments are also issuing additional tax benefits and rebates to help pay for to help pay for the system and create additional savings. Oh, and the best part, once you pay your panels off, you have free electricity forever. Okay. How does that sound? Pretty amazing, right? Okay, so when I'm saying these things, guys, my tonality, if I'm saying, how does that sound? And I'm saying pretty amazing, awesome, right? I'm smiling big right now, okay? Because they're gonna feel it. And it might sound corny, but they feel it, guys. They will feel it. So when you're reading the script, you don't want to be monotone. Use your tonality to really close these deals. So part three, close. I have a few more qualifying questions. Are there any large trees you're aware of that shade your roof? If there aren't, fantastic, move on. If yes, then these are your questions right here, okay? You want to find out, they're not going to be able to tell you exactly, right? But they can give you an estimate and you can use that estimate, okay? Not a big deal, guys. We can remove trees, we can cut trees. We don't want to not have an appointment because they have trees. A lot of people lose deals or don't go to a deal because someone has trees. Okay. Moving on. What type of roof do you have? Is it composite? We want to find what exact type of roof is it? The more info, the better again. Okay. We'll talk about the incentives some more, and let's scroll down a little bit more here. I want to make it through here.
Well, the incentives, what you did up here is really the setup to the joke, to the punchline, right? Because what you're doing is you're asking them a realistic question about their income, which is going to help you determine what to offer them. If they're only making 30,000 a year, they're not going to have any tax incentives to write off. All right. So the government incentives that I mentioned earlier are based off your combined household taxable income. We also want to figure out what additional options are available to you and make sure you qualify and not waste your time and continue. Fair enough? Great. Ballpark figure. What is your combined household taxable income? Now, the magic number you're looking for is 50,000. Anything less, you got to go fishing for income. All right. Now that 50,000 or that 30,000 you mentioned, does that include any investments, real estate holdings? All right. It does. Great. If you added them all up, what's your combined household taxable income? All right. Now, if you know that someone lives, is only getting $1,600 a month on Social Security, but they live in $1 million house, I can assure you that $1,600 a month is not supporting that $1 million house. All right. So it's very, very important you get their combined household taxable income, including their spouse. So we're asking, are you married? Great. That serves two purposes. Number one, you want the spouse on the appointment. But number two, you're also asking, does your wife work? Okay. How much does she make? How much does your husband make? All right.
Hey, Matthew, to answer your question about where the leads are coming from, they're coming from all over the United States. So anywhere from California, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina. They're coming from everywhere, east to west coast. However, if you're on the dialer, um, then you're only gonna call up to the legal dialer time. And it will adjust based on the area code of where you're calling.
Let me kind of address that. Not all agents have the HIS license in California, Maryland, or Illinois.
Correct.
Those three states are not loaded into the main campaign, right? So you don't have to worry about that. Number two, the dialer is set up to dial from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. local time. So that's based off of their area.
Right.
So
Now, if you do have the license, make sure we are aware if we aren't aware, so we can put you on that campaign. Because we do have special campaigns for California, Illinois, Maryland.
So it's dialing 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. local time. So literally you can start at dialing from 9 o'clock Eastern time and dial all the way through 12 a.m. Eastern time, because it's dialing from 9 to 9 Eastern time. And then at 9:01, it takes off the East Coast leads and is only dialing Central, Mountain, and Pacific. When it becomes 10 o'clock Eastern, it'll drop off Central time. You're dialing Mountain and Pacific until it's 9 o'clock local time there. All right. If somebody asks me what's the best time to dial, it doesn't matter, because you're not dialing out manually and waiting for someone to answer. The dialer is doing that for you. So for every agent that's logged in, it's dialing 30 calls every 4 seconds. So if there's 10 agents, that's 300 calls. If there's 100 agents, that's 3,000 calls every 4 seconds. When a call gets answered, it gets routed to the first available agent that's been waiting the longest. The next call goes to the next agent, so on and so forth. So realistically, you're only waiting 10, 15, 20 seconds between calls, but it's constant. It doesn't matter the time of day. All right. You're always going to get people answering.
All right. And just to kind of address that real quick, it's even more important than finishing the script here is on the dialer, when I get some feedback in regards to this, that, hey, I've been on the dialer and it's been, a few minutes and I haven't got something, right? So we did a lot of maintenance on the dialer over the past couple of weeks and bought a bunch of new DIDs. So we have less and less dead airs now that will be happening. Also, we changed some of the configurations to where lists will not have to be uploaded and refreshed on a daily basis, which is nice as well. So the dialer is working in the highest peak performance since we've had it. And once you join the dialer, it will take a couple minutes to load up and spin up, because remember, once you join, it's going to call 10, 20 people to get you that one person that answers. Okay. And that one person,
algorithm, number
yeah.
one.
And so the one person that answers is going to be that's who you're going to get on the phone. Now, the other important thing is if you're not, when you pause yourself, that's okay. If you're pausing yourself to do normal maintenance, but if you're going to walk away for like 20, 30 minutes, make sure you just log out. Don't pause, because if you stay in there paused, it's going to slow down the dialer for everybody else and cause congestion in the dialer. So if you're going to walk away for 20 minutes, just log out and log back in. Okay.
The other thing I want to mention was Firefox. Please make sure you're using Firefox as your browser. All right.
Yes.
There's a time lag with Chrome and Safari and some of the other
Web browsers.
And what that does is someone's already on the call waiting for you, and sometimes because of the time lag, they're waiting 5, 6, 7 seconds, and they're already hanging up before you even get on the call. So if you're using Safari and Chrome and you're getting a bunch of dead airs, that's why.
Okay.
Right,
and
so you're using Firefox.
anytime that anyone gets frustrated because something's not working properly, make sure you immediately reach out to us so we can fix it and figure out what the problem is, instead of just stewing about something not working right. We will fix it and find a solution for you. We want you to make money just as bad as you want to make money. Trust us. All right, so let's go down here. We've covered a lot here. We've talked a lot about this. Let's just kind of go into looking for the close here. So let's go. So you seem to be a perfect fit, right? A perfect candidate for this program and to take advantage of all the state and federal incentives to go solar. Just so you know what to expect, I'm going to be looking at a satellite image of your home and I'm going to discuss your roof, its condition, and shading, if any. I will also need to have a recent copy of an electric bill. I will also explain all the options available. That way you have all the information necessary to make an intelligent choice as to whether solar is right for you and your family or not. I'm sure that's fair, right? Perfect. When would be the best time for me to schedule an appointment with you? Would 6 p.m. tomorrow work or 6 p.m. the following day? And just ask like that. So instead of saying, what's the best time for you and then stopping, you say, what's the best time for you? Would this time work or that time work, right? So you're giving an alternative choice,
Yeah, don't ask open-ended questions. It's choice A, B, or A, B, and C.
right? So, and then right here in highlighted, not more than 5 days out, guys. The farther out you schedule an appointment, the lower the chance that that person's going to show up, the lower the chance we're going to close that deal. So we want as soon as possible, okay? So again, if married, you always want to find out, are they married? If they're married, will your husband or wife be able to attend as well? If not, set the appointment when they will both be there, okay? This is super important. You want the husband and wife to both be there because look, there are many times where the husband will say, I make all the decisions, and then you get to the end of your presentation and they're like, well, my wife didn't hear it, she'd be mad at me. And you're like, well, sir, you did tell me you made most of the decisions. Now there is a caveat to that, okay? If a husband is insistent, just insistent and says,
You have rebuttals at the bottom of this, right?
yeah,
I
there are-
understand you're the decision maker or wear the pants in the family. When you purchased the furniture in your house, was your husband or wife there? This is the same thing. Think of it as furniture for the house or the roof. You're gonna have options on layout, color, and design. I'm sure you're gonna input, correct? After all, happy wife is a happy life, right? Great. So when will you both be there?
yeah. So and use these guys, use these. You can overcome objections right there at the bottom. But this will make it a winning appointment for you if you have a husband and wife together. Double check the contact information. Okay. We'd like to call you back to remind you of the appointments. We want to waste your time. Is there a secondary phone number? Okay. Then we're going to send you a Zoom invitation so it's for a Zoom meeting to review your savings with you. Scroll a little more. And then what's your email? Make sure it's accurate. Okay. So remember, this is virtual, so you have to get the correct email address. And if possible, please send us a copy of your electric bill. It will be helpful to provide more accurate information. If not, I can provide a thumbnail sketch on the presentation to give you an idea. Then we'll have to redo it once we receive the electric bill. Okay, let them know that. So perfect. Look forward to speaking to you. Repeat the date and the time. Thank them. Have a nice day. Next steps are going to be the email. Dave, I'm going to let you take over and show them the emails sent.
Yeah. All right, so what I did was I created template emails for you guys to send. The first email is once you get off the phone with them, you're gonna go into your Zoom. You're gonna schedule the appointment, make sure they get a Zoom invitation, and then you're gonna send them out this email. All right. The email is gonna remind them of the appointment. It's gonna remind them to send back the electric bill. All right, great. It's also gonna provide them with links to videos. All right. The reason why is we want to be able to give to get. The more information you can provide them, the more legitimate you sound. All right. The more credibility you have. All right. We want them to be a little bit educated, and we want to be able to create credibility. All right. The second email is a reminder. Send it out the night before or the day of, whatever you feel comfortable. You're gonna send them your link and the meeting code. You're gonna send them your email to send them, if they haven't already done so, to send you back the electric bill. and then you're gonna send them these links to the brochures. All right, again, we want to provide them with information, again, to build credibility. All right, now, David mentioned every morning I have to do forensic edits or forensic accounting to see what you guys did and how you guys did it, right? And it's becoming a pain in a real pain in the ass because of a number of things. Number one, if you're not dispositioning these appointments as sales, or you're not dispositioning the calls correctly, you're providing me with bad information. So either I'm loading bad leads back into the system, or I'm taking good leads out of it, or more importantly, if you guys scheduled it and didn't disposition it, that lead is going to be back in the system. Someone else is going to dial it. Chances are someone else is going to set that appointment, and now you're in a head-to-head competition with somebody else. All right. So take it upon yourselves to make sure that the calls are dispositioned correctly. All right. Last week, of the 25 sales, only 9 of them were dispositioned correctly, web form filled out, and entered into Freedom Forever. All right. 9 of them were not dispositioned as sales. 9 of them were not dispositioned, or no web form was submitted, in which case I had to go back and fill out the web forms. And 11 of them were never put into the Freedom Portal. All right, that's unacceptable. All due respect. If you're going to use the dialer, you have certain responsibilities that come along with that. All right. So that being said, go back to here. We did the emails. All right, so the next part is you're going to go to this document labeled Step 4 Proposal Structure. And the first thing you want to do is look at what state it's in to figure out what options are available to this customer. So you can see whether Everbright services it, Sunrun services that state. All right. And then you look to see what utility company is. So if it's in Massachusetts, say, and you're using National Grid, you can see that it's both Everbright and Sunrun that are options. All right. If it's only Marblehead Municipal, Everbright is your only option as far as a lease is concerned. So you want to figure out what lease option is available to you. Obviously, we can do the purchase or financing, but you want to be able to present them with both a lease option and financing if available. All right. That way you're not making the decision for them, but you're showing them what options are available to them, and you're educating your customer, again, creating credibility for yourself and being an advocate for your customer, help them figure out what is the best deal for them. All right. And you're not going to know which one to present first until you get to the presentation and you're asking your probing questions. All right. And you're going to ask all these questions before you even show the proposal. Based off their answers, it's going to help you determine whether you want to present the lease first or you want to present the purchase first. All right. David?
Yeah, what's really great is that the new hire packet contains so much valuable information and videos that we've taken the time to really put together, and Dave's taken a lot of time to put together, which covers everything we covered today is going to be in that packet. As far as the dialer system, the script, how to read it, tonality, how to overcome objections, the tools, where to find out, where you can use Sunrun, Everbright, Aurora, everything. It's all in that packet right there. It's all for you to review. So the more that you review that packet and study that information, the faster you'll be able to come up with answers on the phone, and on the fly. And I've been a salesperson my entire life, as well as Dave, and we're both older gentlemen, um, but we're still in the game.
Who you calling
Um,
gentlemen?
so the important thing is that you really realize that a lot of these little things, they really matter. They start to add up, and when you're doing everything right, that's when you start seeing your pipeline at 20, 30, 40 sales in your pipeline, and now you're looking at 800,000, $1.2 million a year, and you're like, wow, this actually makes sense. Okay, I'm organized now. I have a pipeline. My spreadsheet looks great. And it doesn't take you a whole day to figure out what's going on with your deals. Where's this deal going? Where's that deal going? So just stay organized, and stay on top of your deals, and follow up with every deal, right? After a deal doesn't work out, make sure you follow up. We have so many deals in our pipeline right now. It's crazy, that we still are following up with. And what happens is we will give reps usually about 2 to 4 weeks to follow up with their deals, and we'll follow up with that rep individually and give you time to go ahead and follow up with that customer. But if we don't see activity, then the company will then just go ahead and take over and go ahead and make sure that sale is taken care of. Okay, because there's no point on missing out on a sale. But we will keep reaching out to that rep for that sale for 2 to 4 weeks before we actively try to engage any customer. Just so you guys know, we want you to engage that customer. We don't want to engage that customer, but we also don't want to lose the sale. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback off that. So what I sent you guys today was an abbreviated version of all the training materials. And I know, God knows, I know it's complicated and cumbersome and whatnot, but I boiled it down to 4 documents that you really need. All right. The first is the script that we use to set the appointments. The second is the email template. The third is the proposal structure, which tells you more or less what the options are. And then I give you an outline for your virtual appointment and how to do the presentation. All right. Those are really the only 4 documents you need to be successful in this, right? If you follow these 8 steps, that's the entire process. All right. It's real simple. It's just a numbers game. If you follow the blueprint, you're going to be very successful. If you don't, you're going to fail. All right. It's just that simple. Right. Realistically, if you get on the dialer for 2 hours a day, you're going to set at least 4 appointments every day. Of the 4 appointments, you're going to make at least 3 presentations if you do it right. All right. If you do the appointment setting side, if you do it half-ass, you're going to have half-ass appointments. In the old days, we called it writing dead wood, right? Meaning you're just going through the motions just for the sake of doing it without getting outcome out of it. All right. But if you set minimum 4 appointments a day, you're going to do 3 presentations. All right. Out of the 3 presentations, you should be getting at least 1 sale. All right. Being conservative, you said your average commission was just $5,000. That's 1 sale a day times 5 days a week. That's 20 sales a month times 5,000. It's $100,000 a month, 12 months, $1.2 million a year. Right?
I will say one thing also. Your average sale probably is going to be closer to 6,500 to 7,500. But it's nice to see. Yeah, you're being conservative. Yeah.
All right. That's the blueprint. And if you follow these steps, that is achievable. All right. It's when you go off the reservation is when people fail. All right.
Sweet.
So let me go ahead and turn it back over to you. I think you wanted to go over putting in deals and showing how to disposition those deals, right?
Yeah, just real quick, and then we can wrap up this call. We're gonna do more training next
I'm
week.
gonna make you the host, so
That's
go
fine.
ahead and share your screen.
Just 1 minute.
Hey David, I had a question real quick about cosigners.
Uh-huh.
Do they have to come from immediate family or can it be like a family friend?
It can be a family friend.
I just want to make sure.
I mean, as long as they're, I don't care. It really doesn't matter who it is, as long as it's legit and legal.
Yeah.
You guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's look at leads. So there's lots of leads, as you can see here. Takes a minute to load. While this is loading, is everyone familiar?
Nick, I
everyone should
believe,
be.
hang on a second. Nick, I believe I sent you and everybody else these documents that we just went over earlier today. If you didn't, reach out to me and I'll make sure that you get it. It
Okay.
might be in your spam folder, but I'm sure you got it.
Thank you. All right. So when we're inputting leads, guys, this is after you've already gone through in the dialer and you've added, you've done the web form and you've dispositioned in the dialer. Now we're going to add the lead, right? So you click add lead, right? You're going to type in your name here for everyone that's new. Put in your address right there. Let's just do, doesn't matter what this is, but Manhattan Beach. Great. There's details here. A lot of the stuff you have to put in anyway, so you can kind of skip past all this stuff right here. Create lead. So what you're going to do here, the first thing you're going to do is add an appointment. Okay, because you set an appointment. So click add appointment, sales rep, choose who you are. Okay, so let's appointment type, phone consult. If it's in home, choose in home, of course. Choose the date. Choose the time. 1 p.m. Notes. So if you had notes from the call, you can transfer them over to this.
Just copy and paste it from the web.
Right. Son was in the military. Family is Baptist. Right. So like little tidbits. I like to find out information when I'm dealing with people. So if I'm doing setting up an appointment, I'm pretty much going to know a lot about that person or that family by the end of my appointment. That way, when I go into my close, that person feels so comfortable with me that me asking for the last word of that social, it just rolls off their tongue like it was just meant to be. Okay. Because by the time I get to that part, I'm part of the family at that point. Okay.
And you're building credibility.
All right. So let's just, okay, that, save it. So now it will update. You're gonna have an appointment here. Okay. Right. So after the appointment, they say this appointment sits David Taylor. By the way, right here are proposals. Okay. So if you want to create a proposal for Aurora, I'm not going to go into all that right now. This, if you need help with this individually, let me know. We will do training on this again on Monday, next weekend, on Wednesday, probably, for anyone that's new that we have brought on next week. But if you need to reach out to me, just call me. Aurora and Sunrun are right here. Everbright, it's a separate portal. So disposition appointment. Say you sold this appointment. You click sold. Great job. You'll be able to convert it into a project. If you won the deal, the same thing is sold. Just click sold. Customer no show, follow up. If you do follow up, you can set up a new time the reasons, follow up, and the notes, okay?
It's super important that you guys update this.
Very important, not only because for us, but for you too. The only way you can properly manage your pipeline is to properly know exactly what happened on each one. You're going to end up, if you're taking this serious and you're doing 2 hours a day on the dialer, you're going to end up with a very big pipeline, over 100 people, right, in your pipeline. And if you don't know detailed notes, you're not going to remember it. You might say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to remember this. I don't need to put it in here. That's just being lazy. And as salespeople, a lot of salespeople are inherently lazy, and we have to fight through it. And it's not an insult to anyone. It's just the way it is. I've seen it, and I have to push through sometimes to do things I don't want to do, right? To not be complacent on things, to not be lazy on things. It's just how it is. If you find yourself being lazy or complacent because you made like 5 sales this month, just realize, hey, what if this is the last month that you can sell this year? What if something catastrophic happens and now you made 10 sales? Now you have enough money to cover you for the entire year. You never know what's going to happen in life, right? Life is full of surprises. So I treat each sale like it's the last sale I'm ever going to get. So I have to get that sale.
The
Someone
short
have a question?
answer, the short answer is the larger your pipeline gets, the more unmanageable it gets. So
Right.
you want to do everything in your power to manage your pipeline. And if you can minimize that, David, so they could actually see what it looks like.
Oh, the pipeline. Yeah. I mean, it's big.
So you can see if it's just a new lead, we have no idea. You have no idea what happened to that. If it shows as dispatched, well, what happened afterwards? You have no idea.
So long story short, I think we've kind of beat this dead horse here, but basically you always want to make sure you're dispositioning your appointments here. It'll load. There's no shortage of leads, guys. It's just ridiculous. So all right. So dispatch. A lot of these aren't done right. These are older ones, but you get the point. And then really quick, once you change it from a lead to a project, then it will go into projects. Right there, you click on projects, then you'll be able to see all your projects there. In regards to sales lookup, I want to show you this real quick. If you have a zip code and you want to check, do we do sales there? Type in the zip code. The city will come up, select your utility company. Okay. Just do river. This will tell you right here what you need for the sale. Is there a distance adder? No. Do you need homeowners insurance? Yes. The average processing PTO time, 10 days. Pre-install approval, 10 days. This is what you need for the to actually sell the system. Okay. So that gives you everything right there. Any questions on leads, projects, any of these resources here on the left side? Anything at all? Sorry, I'm a bit sick. I have a cold, so I'm sniffling. I apologize.
Anybody have
Tickets,
questions about anything?
huh?
Anybody have any questions about anything we've gone over so far?
No.
Can we email this recording to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And again, guys, I know there's questions out there. Some people are just shy, and that's okay. Just reach out to me or Dave on this. You can reach out to Dalton too, if you're on Dalton's team, right? Since Dalton's on this call, I didn't see you a second ago. Dalton, did you just reappear? And we can all assist you. If it is strictly about the dialer and any issues you're having there, I'd streamline it and just try to get a hold of Dave directly. Text and then call. If it's a sales question or a dialer question, Dave's not answering, you can reach out to me directly. And we will help you with that as well, okay? That is it, guys. If you have anything else,
Just one thing on the script. It's highly advisable for you guys to print out the script and not read it from a computer screen. Because invariably, what's gonna happen is someone's gonna interrupt you with a question, comment, or concern. You address their question, comment, or concern, and then you're actually lost. And either there's awkward silence while you find your place, or you're subconsciously umming and ahhing while you find your place, and they could hear you doing that. All right. If you have the script in your hand, you're following it with your fingertips, and you're never going to lose your place. You're always going to remain in control. I know it sounds wacky and weird and all that, but I promise you, you want to use everything to your advantage. All right, you want to be able to come off as credible and trustworthy.
sweet.
Right.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Anybody have any questions, please reach out to us. And as soon as this video gets loaded, I will make sure to send it to everybody. All right, if somebody has not received any of the information that we sent earlier, reach out to me and I will make sure you get a copy of it. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Yo.
Nice.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it, y'all.